Hello everyone, welcome to a stream. How are we all doing? Yeah, let me get that shite off the screen for now. Welcome to a comfy chatting stream in the festive spirit, everyone. Hello. Let me just get my chat window here. Alright. Hello chat. Hi Chef, Dirk, Morris, Big Guy, Sharon, Zeomal, Gabor. Yeah, that was an old dev diary we had on the screen there. So Victoria 3 update everyone. Game's still shit. Let's talk about something else. Nah, I'm joking. We'll mention something. We'll talk about a dev diary or the latest things. But some funny comments I want to make about the latest stuff.
I think we're all out of sync, aren't we?
We are very comfy today. Thank you, Spudmate.
Thank you, Rob, very much for the $2. Comfy is what we're going for in this stream. If the snow effect ever gets annoying, let me know. You know, it's there. It's very festive. It's beautiful. But you know, might get annoying if you keep. I don't know what it's like to be a viewer looking at this. Obviously, in good fashion, my YouTube chat window has glitched and I cannot see the current chat, waiting for it to update so I can actually talk to everyone. This usually happens at the start of a stream, the middle of a stream, end of a stream, just throughout every stream, really, on YouTube. I get more money from this channel memberships, but I have to deal with a not working chat. So now I just wait for this to update. Welcome everyone. I get to see my own little OBS chat window. I can see Base Department, I can see Fourth Kaiser. Fourth Kaiser, you've got the role of your lifetime coming up. I hope you realise that. Spoilers for a Vic 2 video. You must know the one it's going to be, right? The country you were playing. Alright, my chat's back it seems. There we go. I think the snow should fall faster. I can't change the speed of it. It's a GIF. It's a GIF. I can't speed up or slow down a GIF, guys. This is a really high budget stream. This is you know what? Hello, Remus.
Hi, Spotgun.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you. I needed that, Spotgun.
I'll keep you in here for a moment because I need to get on with my little personal Vic 3 discussion, but how is everything going?
Give me a second, I needed to mute the live, it got annoying. So, yeah, it's been going quite well. I've been trying to learn Jingle Bells on the piano in it.
Oh, are you ready? Do you want to give us a little performance?
Well, I could try, yeah, sure. Let me get the sheets on more.
Let me know when you're ready so I can pause my music. By the way, he came in and his voice was really loud because Discord has reset. All my Discord settings keep resetting. It's completely fucked. This happened on my stream on Sunday. I have to turn people down a bit every time they come in.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I could try to play something, a little improv in it.
It's got to be a Christmas song.
Oh yeah, it's Jingle Bells in it, yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Take it away, Remus. Remus. You know what? Oh, I can hear myself. I'm going to keep you there. You can go on the piano in the corner and play a nice, relaxing, jazzy jingle bells while everyone else talks. You can stay.
So true.
Beautiful. Whoa! I thought you were winding down. I need to say. What's this? I was just gonna say, everyone check out fucking Trail of Cans and get out of here. No,
God in Christ.
they didn't lie. He can play piano. Okay, I need to get on with my discuss. Thank you so much. You're a great piano player. That was great. Thank you.
Okay, I stopped. I'm sorry. That must have heard like shit because
It sounded good. I mean, like the sound quality or whatever. It sounded fine, just like a normal piano. What are you using there? A keyboard?
Yeah, I'm using a keyboard, but I upgraded recently. Midnight. Actually, I was gonna say Midnight hardwired my last keyboard to be an IED because that's an inside joke with him, and I hoped he was listening. But no, I just bought a new one.
Oh my god, great. Okay, thank you. Okay, you might come in later. I'll bring more people in later. Probably. I need to do my own discussion. Thank you.
All right, no worries.
See you. All right, chat, let me get my own background music back on. There was some impromptu stuff, because this is what we do on an impromptu stream, just a random chatting stream. We just bring in random people. We get the festive spirit. He was in the waiting room. I couldn't resist. And he's a good piano player. His mod is Trail of Cans. I put it in my fucking Victoria tutorial. I used it as the example mod that I installed, if you remember. All right, let me get my music back on. There we go. I also have to say, IDK, what I'm doing, thank you very much for your membership. I can't remember the amount of months the thing passed by. Lazathel, thank you. Lazathel, thank you so much for joining the channel membership at the level of Craftsman. I appreciate that so much. Okay. Let me see. This guy keeps asking me about Bannerlord. Like, shut up. Dude, should it be on a Switch? I don't know. I'll block you. Thanks guys for the channel memberships. Do join the channel membership. My YouTube chat is frozen again in typical Christmas fashion. I also had another technical problem this morning. My fucking mouse stopped being able to click. Does anyone know how to troubleshoot this? I need my YouTube chat to update so I can even see if anyone can give me the troubleshooting on this. My mouse, it could still move around on the screen. I loaded up my PC this morning and it could still move around, but the click didn't work. So I found this other mouse that I had in the cupboard. No, it's not click clean under the clickers. No, it's really fine. The thing physically clicked. That's what I mean. I tried a different USB port. When I restarted my PC and it was initially working, then it stopped again. This is sort of infuriating shit. This is not an old mouse. This is a good mouse. This is fucking Logitech. Let me fucking what's the model of this one? I don't know. Logitech G502. It's probably still within its bloody warranty as well, so I can look that one up. You should buy a new PC. Well, I have had my PC since 2016, so it's been a while. I'll probably have to upgrade at some point. But yeah, I don't know how long the warranty is. I can't even remember when I got it. It's like a couple of years. So, maybe. It's a wired mouse. I can never get behind using a wireless mouse. Just the thought of it running out of battery at any point Now, all the wireless mice will always say, oh, it's got great battery life, oh, you barely have to charge it. But let's face it, if you get a wireless mouse at one point or another, it will just run out of battery when I'm microing a Great War, you know? It's always going to happen. Is it all the buttons? The 502? I don't think I actually tested the side buttons. John Connor, please stop pinging me with this questions about Bannerlord. Okay, thank you. And I've always used a wired mouse and I've never bothered, you know. I'm stuck in certain ways. I'm always stuck in my ways, you know. Anyway, I advertised this about Victoria 3, so I will talk about it. Give you the latest rundown. So overall, it's trudging along, and I want to mention first how I was expecting a dev diary today. My stream is half an hour after the usual time that they release them, right? 5 PM my time, and there wasn't one. So I'm just thinking, like, I'm working my ass off all the way up until Friday before Christmas, all the way up until tomorrow. I'm finishing 2 videos tomorrow. Meanwhile, Paradox can't even fucking put out a Word document today because it's Christmas, we have to take the time off. Oh, we can't even put out a little Word document about what we're developing with this shithole of a game. Come on. And it's not as if the last couple of dev diaries are full of any great info either. I mean, come on. It can't be that hard. Just put out something. They're giving me no content to analyse today. Anyway, what we had for the last couple of dev diaries, after one about the patch or something, what have we got? I'll get them on the screen here. So what we had was, this is, I've got 69 and 70. 69 and 70. So what they've been doing, what Paradox have done for a little while, they've been doing this so-called game jam within the studio. This is how they're sort of brainstorming new ideas to put to the game. And before I talk about any specific, well, there's only one specific thing I give a fuck about. Well, there's actually 2. There's 2 features, or there's 2 sections in any of these dev diaries I actually want to talk about. The rest is guff, as usual. But first of all, overall, what are they doing with these? What is this game jam thing? Like, they put the game out, they released it, they've done a couple of patches, and it's like they're already at the drawing board. They've got no idea what to do, so they're putting their employees, like, come up with ideas, please. Please come up with game jam ideas. We've got no idea what I've got. What can you do? It's really weird. I mean, I'm at this, you know, I'm analysing it from the worst possible angle, obviously. I mean, who cares? I don't actually care. I mean, they're doing stuff, coming up with ideas, but that's, you could view it that way. And it could come across that way. Because because while this is all going on, these game jam things they're doing, the game has massive, obvious flaws that even normal, you know, can you disable snow while looking at the diaries? I'll put it to a poll. IDK, what I'm doing. Didn't you already become a member, like, earlier? Why am I getting a new alert for you? But thank you. Are you now just putting a message to it? Spud, please watch Samir Maybe's video on the dev diary. I don't want to watch anything else. I'm just doing my own thing. I'll watch it after, okay? I can't control the weather. Yeah, that's right. I'll put it to a poll. Hold on. I'll answer a few more questions in a second. Hey, it's Victor. That's the guy who always tries to get me. That's the guy who got me in the fucking Knights of Honor video. And he tried to get me on my second Knights of Honor stream as well, but he failed. Watch that. Watch out for that, man. Watch out for that, man. Right, I'm putting up a poll. Now you can vote on whether I have snow on during such times as I'm reading dev diaries. I'm not even reading it, by the way. I'm like, I'll take when I have to get over the initial thing I want to say about it. Okay, FPS Silver. Whenever this super chat shows up on the screen, that is sort of, oh god.
I think we're all out out of sync, aren't we?
Daily Reminder Paradox Hire de HOI4 Mod Developers to Make Vic 3. Horrible, evil ones like Pacifica Rus impede for Soviet ethnic genocide.
Thank you very much, FP Silver, for your $5 super chat. I mean, all views, well, not all views, but you get what I mean. Within reason, views are welcome here, especially about Paradox and games and stuff. That talking about games isn't exactly that controversial, but the views are welcome here. But I don't have a clue about the stuff you're mentioning there, but that's something I want to talk about. But I only have one specific take on that, which we'll get to when I cover. This is I think that one's in 70, that section, but we'll get to that. Okay. Okay, the poll has suggested that I do turn off the snow. Okay, hold on. Okay, yep, Christmas is cancelled. Fucking the Scrooges in the chat voted against the snow. Christmas is over. I know, FP Silver, I know. I'm going to get to that. Thanks for your super chat, I appreciate it so much. So, like I said, it comes across to me like they're just scrambling and coming up for ideas for Victoria 3 when the game has obvious flaws that they urgently need to fix. Does anyone think that's a fair view of this game jam thing they did over the past few weeks? Aside from the fact they can't even release a fucking dev diary today. Turn the music down a bit more. Goatman, thank you. Spud, Merry Christmas. What do you want this year? Oh, I never asked for anything specific this year. I just want a nice Christmas with the family and everyone and the loved ones and all that. And to, you know, I don't need anything. I don't need an upgrade on the PC. Well, apparently I need a new mouse, but my chat is frozen again, so let's wait for that to come back up. Hold on. Now the music's too quiet. Oh, it was fading out anyway. It was fading out. Okay, it's back. I think. Yeah. They are floundering. Yeah, it seemed they came across as floundering when they were doing their streams as well, back before it was released. How they were just sort of... Is there any music? Just as they were sort of meandering around, not seeming to have a clue what they were doing. And is it... The game jam thing comes across like that post-development as well. Where's the direction of the game? What do they want to do with it, you know? Now, yeah, my chat window. Yeah, come on. Oh, my chat window is completely frozen. Oh, nice. Let me just pop it out again. Hold on. Hang on a sec, everyone. Right, we're back. Did I miss any super chats or anything? I don't think so. YouTube chat windows suck. They keep freezing on me. My new one has already frozen. Yep. Twitch is back on the menu. Because this is honestly the worst shit I've ever used. My chat windows constantly freeze. I can't look at my chat. Okay, it just updated. God, I hate YouTube so much. Only people playing this game are TNO. Imperator had more direction than Vic 3. Okay. And now it's updating. Now we can go. Okay. I think the first thing I want to mention is in Dev Diary number 69. And this is... Yes, I think it's the one... Yeah, here we go. So, I put out a tweet as well. Let me go try and grab that so I can fully explain this, right? The first suggestion in their Dev Diary Game Jam thing number 16. Let's not go too far with the TNO discussion in the chat, okay? I don't even have a clue about any of it. So this is their Dev Diary. It's one of the programmers coming up with... One of the designers and I decided to team up to explore potential improvements for our military system. So the first one is them coming up with a suggestion about how they might improve the military system, right? Some of the examples they're coming up with. And I made a tweet. Yes, okay. So, with Victoria 3, they had about 3 years of full development, it's fair to say, based on the timeline that I had in my Victoria 3 War System video. All this time they had internal testing, countless discussions about what direction they might want to take the game, you know. And eventually they came out with eventually decided upon their direction with the war system, how they would do it. And they started implementing what we have in the game, you know, the war system. They came out with their dev diary, the infamous dev diary first, explaining the war system. And then there was all the controversy, the backlash, and the blind support as well. So they did that. And then, you know, a few more dev diaries about the war system, robust discussion everywhere. And probably having more countless discussions and testing and working on it within the company. And then the leak happens, the Victoria 3 leak. Very difficult time for them, and it was, I covered it and stuff, and it was it was a riot for us. We had a great time, it was fun as hell, had a laugh, but for them it must have been a disaster. And obviously lots of feedback for the game came in at that point, but they rejected the feedback from the leak because it was a leak after all, and they already knew about everything. And then they developed the game more, and then the game launches. They do a few streams of the game before it came out, by the way. That obviously also got a lot of feedback from myself, from anyone watching, from their comments, the chat, the forums, more feedback. Then of course the game launched, and there was even more. There was huge stuff, lots of people streaming it, playing it, lots of content being made, more discussions, more feedback coming in about the war system as well and stuff, everything. And for about, 3 years, 4 years of that and everything. And then they go and they have this game jam where they challenge all the developers and programmers to come up with great ideas. You know, brainstorming, mind maps, I'm sure, were written on whiteboards, coming out with loads of different ideas. And it was only then, only during this game jam, after all that one developer thought, you know what, it might be a good idea if we have more than one battle in a front. There you go. That's my story. Hope everyone enjoyed. That was the point at which they thought that might be a good idea. In terms of the feedback, when I went over that, I talked about all the feedback they were getting. I'm sure the first time it became apparent that you wouldn't have more than one battle in a front, people were suggesting they should have more than one battle in a front. I mean, we could go back. We can find probably the first fucking dev diary that they released where people were suggesting that. People who support the general direction of the war system were probably like, you know what, I mean, I support the general direction of your war system, but you should at least have more than one battle on one front. I mean, the entirety of the fucking Prussian-Austrian front here is the example they've got. Surely that should have more than one battle. Anyway, I thought it's just beautiful and hilarious and all that. World War I was just one battle per front, just read history and buy the DLC. And, and this isn't even them saying they're going to even implement this. This is just them brainstorming, putting the idea out there. Like, who knows how long it'll take them to actually put this in the game. There's also another thing. Is it in here? Is it in this? Yeah. The next idea. This is it. It's literally in the GIF. So, alongside the idea, brainstormed, of putting fucking 2 battles in one front, they also want to make it so that when you click in the sea, it fucking makes a splash. This is equally as important a new feature they could add to the game. I didn't even realise they had a GIF of it. It was in a fucking unlisted video or something. Now, I'm not saying that water being able to do these little effects, and I don't want any disrespect towards the VFX artist there who's doing it. Sure, it's nice on its own, but within the context of a broken game, with everything I just talked about with the war system, why is this even being discussed? Fucking fix the game. They should be having them working 24 hours a day, fixing that fucking war system. But they're only like brainstorming, you know what? Make some splashes in the water. Let's make it so that people can reminisce on the days that were a fucking toddler going to a swimming pool or something and splashing around, or having a bath. You know, whenever you get bored, maybe you've got some downtime in the game, splashy, splashy, splashy. Maybe you can get some fun and enjoyment out of that. And why would in Victoria 3, why would you even be clicking water anyway? You don't have navies to micro and move around. So why would you ever be clicking on the map, other than to click a state that you need to build a factory in? Touching sand. They should have fucking done it up in some grass. Then you'd be you can literally touch grass in Victoria 3. Honestly, I'm going to download this GIF after the stream and it's going to become meme material. I'll use it for something. Something or other, trust me. But, I didn't... So, as well as that, thank you very much, Emperor Malgus, for gifting a membership. I appreciate that. So there's some other ideas I came up with. Economic ideas, like, what's this? Modifiers. Nothing... I'm not saying any of this, like... Other than the obvious war system thing I mentioned, I'm not actually criticising any of this because, like many things with Victoria 3, on its own, as a little idea, as a little mechanic, it's not objectively bad. But within the direction that they took the game, the way it shits on Victoria 2, it's just, why? Is all I'm saying. Splashing the water. Name some of the Hoi 4 DLCs or things. What could we rename to that? What have you got? Splashing of the Bosphorus. I'm so funny. What else have you got in Hoi 4? Walking the water. Splashing the tiger. Man the splash. Man the sand. Splash or dishonor. No splash back. Turning the tides, is that... Turning the tides is a good generic one. Or is it already a... By water alone? Splash the guns. No, not one splash back. Splash for victory. The water fight of the Bosphorus. A splash divided. Anyway. Let's not scrape the barrel as another Hoi 4 reference for jokes there. Let's move on. Honestly, one more thing. Does anyone remember like Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 or something, and they added a swimming pool DLC or something? It just reminds me of that for some reason. I don't know why. Specifically that. Like, you could add all these water cannons that the visitors to the park would like spray each other with water cannons and stuff. It just gives me that sort of vibe. And I love that game. But why am I getting the vibes of an old fucking roller coaster game in Victoria, which is a game about fucking great economic management leading towards massive wars and destruction and great power diplomacy and all that? Why is that in my Victoria game? You could... Oh yeah, it's because in Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 you could like make whirlpools in the water in your swimming pool. You could actually click, I think if I remember, you could click on the water and stuff. Victor, come back to me with more info about that. Loco says, maybe you should mention something important, which is navies and naval landings. I recently realised you can't stop a country transferring an army overseas. Yeah, Loco, well said. Yeah, like, say you're the United Kingdom and you're at war with the Netherlands, and you want to, like, you're the UK, you want to invade the East Indies, The Netherlands can send an army to defend it, according to what you're saying, without the British Navy being able to stop it getting there. That's just, I mean, that's just yet another reason. Like, coming up with reasons for why the war system is bad is something that I gave up on doing. I mean, it's just, there isn't anything more to say. It's just so beyond, you know, beyond it. You can't even talk. That's just another reason to add to the pile of why the war system and the navy system is shit. It's beating a dead horse. I mean, definitely. So Victor, who was the guy that you said made the Leviathan DLC, which is one of the worst DLCs Paradox has made ever, as far as I'm aware? Oh, come on, Trey. We're having fun on this stream. This whole stream and its vibe, does it sound like we're hating? I mean, we came up with all these... It's fun. We're having a fun time here. You're the party pooper. You're Scrooge. You're the Scrooge. So, okay, Mike Lit. Is that... Wait! No, he fucking got me! He came up with it. He fucking got me. You stupid bastard! He fucking got me. He was talking about a Leviathan DLC. That was so clever. Telling me about this fucking EU4 DLC maker who went to move on to Victoria 3, and I was there thinking he had a fucking contribution to this game jam thing. Should I end the stream at this point? And that I fucking built him up as well. I said it's the guy who got me in the Knights of Honor video. Christmas is ruined. Christmas is fucking ruined, everyone. It's so over. Christmas is cancelled. Alright, so let's move on to the next thing, right? I'm sure there's many other great ideas in this dev diary. So we got number 70, and I want to point out again, where is the dev diary for today? This is dev diary day. Come on. Like I said before, you know, I work my ass off getting these videos done, and a massive corporation can't even share out a Word document a few days before Christmas. Come on. Leviathan. People are talking about Leviathan, the EU4 DLC in the chat as well. Now, let's not dwell on this too long, but who is actually responsible for EU4 Leviathan? Who's actually responsible for it? And don't even try to get me, because I'll be looking at every single name you post, okay? Oh, it says it here. This is our final Victoria 3 dev diary for 2022. Me, says someone. PDX Tinto, yeah. So that's their dev team. Johan. Yeah. Was it actually Johan and his team?
I think we're all out of sync, aren't we?
It's Jove.
Thank you very much, Douglas MacArthur, for the $5. It's Jover for my channel, everything. That's career ending. Yeah, Johan, what a fall from grace he had, right? He made Victoria 2, or he was one of the leaders of Victoria 2. And probably EU3 and stuff, and good games back in the day. And look at him now, he made Imperator Rome, which is a game that I find hard to hate on, because they improved it and stuff. And they got rid of the mana system. Then he does this disaster of EU4 DLC. It's hard for me to criticize him, you know, because, you know, he made all the good stuff back in the day. You can't really say that about any of the Vic 3 lot. What has Martin done? He made some Stellaris stuff that's kind of, I don't know, alright. I mean, yeah, Johan didn't make Victoria to himself. There was other people. He was an important guy in the thing, though. Anyway, the reason I wasn't so suspicious about that name as well, Victor, as well, is because it's like, it says lit, you know? That's like a real name, you know? People are lit, you know? That's what I thought. Victoria to a 10-year retrospective. I might check that after, yeah. Okay, careful, Dirk. Okay, calm down with that. That's too far. Alright? Whoa. Mate. I think YouTube is automatically not showing that on the stream chat window on my stream, which is good. Thankful for that. So they did the first Dev Diary with the Game Jam stuff. Number 69. This is number 70. Came out the following week after. What's the first one here? You might have seen me in the past on Stellaris and Hoi 4 streams. There you go. Says all you need to know about what they did with Victoria. I've been mostly focused on implementing gameplay graphics for the last 2 years. Project, first time. So the first one right off the bat is how they're going to push the immersive living map experience. Is this what you're going to be able to do here? Click on a building and it fucking demolishes it? Pavement upgrades to dirt roads when player researches paved roads. Okay. I mean, this is classic what I'm talking about, which is just sparkly, shiny stuff that isn't going to save a fundamentally broken game, you know? There's nothing bad about these things. Nothing bad about seeing a country look nicer and more modern as you research text, but it's not fixing the game. Building highlighting on the map. Oh, now that is definitely, that is City Builder. That is, wow. Clicking on the building on the map to see it with the menu, that is definitely some Anno stuff. They should just implement this, because this just shows the true direction Victoria 3 is, right? City Builder, City Skylines, Anno 1800. Anyway, what's the next one? Adding more contextual detail to the map. Ecstatic about the building highlighting functionality since it gives you a more closer conceptual connection between the UI and the map. Is this exactly the same, you know, sort of stuff? Just cosmetic, additional legitimacy calculation? It's just stuff about improving the UI. Not yet at the one we want to get to. So they want to develop museums. Our goal was to represent the 19th and early 20th century obsession with plundering the world for other people's prices. Yeah. Yeah, they're putting fucking agendas in there, right? Why do they have to make it such a loaded statement about plundering priceless cultural artifacts everywhere else? You know? Nah, I'm joking. But, what? Isn't there another game where you have... This is something out of Civ 6. I played Civ 6 a bit last year. In Civ 6, you get to build these, like, oh god, what were they? Was it Civ 6? Yeah, it is. Because you have these units like the an explorer or someone that went around and you could collect ruins and artifacts and put them in a museum. Civ 5 has them as well. Yeah, there you go. Scouts, yeah. Archaeologists. Stuff like that. This is literally CK type deal as well, says Fourth Kaiser. Absolutely. Loco says that the living map is optimized badly so it destabilizes the game, lowering the FPS. Loco's absolutely right. A lot of people, like, it's not a problem I've noticed because I don't know, I've never made it past 1850 anyway, but people talk a lot about the game chugging and getting slow and struggling with FPS, particularly later into a game. And it's stuff like this. Stuff like this slowing the game even more. I don't know about the technical details about why the game might be badly optimized, but adding more fancy 3D living map stuff isn't going to help. So basically, the museum's just a fucking Civ 6 or Civ 5. Pointless. Fix the game before you add... And obviously, again, I'll say it again, this is not a bad thing on its own. Like, with no context. But in the context of a Victoria game, within Victoria 3, where everything else is fucked, come on. So, what is... And then they also added some of those things. Where was the one that I really wanted to get to? The statement. Blah, blah, blah. What's this? Tax stuff? No, oh, we'll skip that. We'll skip that. Where was the bit I wanted to talk about with the TNO, the Hoi4 developer? Was it part of this? It was part of this one, wasn't it? Was it? Was it part of this one? Was it in 69? Must have been in 69. Did you see the great rework mod for Vic 3 makes it look kind of like Vic 2 in a way? No? Not really. It's in the museum section. Where is it? Where is it? Blah, 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 blah. This is it, right? Okay. Now this is something that someone mentioned in a super chat, which is someone from TNO, a very big mod for Hearts of Iron 4, who is a new content designer on the Victoria 3 team. Now, I don't know a single thing about TNO. I've heard that there's some drama with it. I also don't know a thing about that either. I don't know, and I don't care, because it's Hoi4. And if you mention those 3 letters, people will go wild in the chat. And by the way, I don't think I want to know, because I don't actually care about it, okay? These controversies, I don't know a thing. And I don't care. Yeah, people are negative about it. Brady, that's true. That is something I noticed. That's the vibe I get from it. I've never played it or anything, but when I hear about it, it seems like it's really weird role-playing and that in a weird direction. But I only have one point to make about this, which you'll also see me making in an upcoming video where I'm going to discuss a very interesting topic. And I'll just wait for the super chat alert to come through. So I'm getting the idea that it's obviously very like it's just like a novel, a visual novel or a book, because there's just too much LARP and events. Which is, yeah.
I think we're all out of sync, aren't we?
All this living map stuff is just to make it easier for the console, mobile version of the game.
Thank you, Arachnid, for the $4.99 US. And you raise an interesting point about the living map stuff. When people say, oh, Victoria 3 is a mobile game, this and that, it's probably because of that sort of thing. Because classic, good Paradox games that we all know and love just have a basic map without too much fancy stuff on it. Vic 2 has railroads going around, but they didn't bother going into too much stuff because the game's about the gameplay and it's about the vision and about, you know, what it's trying to do. And now this, like I've just said, they're going down into making these, you know, fancy 3D graphics and stuff. Yeah. So the only point I want to make about this thing, I don't give a fuck about TNO. So this person who joined the Victoria 3 team is a Hearts of Iron 4 modder. Right? Everyone is overlooking the basic point here, right? They've taken a Hearts of Iron 4 modder to put them on the Victoria 3 team. That shows you all you need to know about Victoria 3, in that it is not a sequel to Victoria 2. If they were going to make a sequel to Victoria 2, surely they would take someone who knew Victoria 2. Now, Hearts of Iron 4 is a war game. Okay, can we calm it down with the stuff in the chat, alright? This is why I'm not even talking about the actual issues you're talking about. So, let's actually just fucking move on from that. I'm just talking about HOI 4 in general. HOI 4 is a war game, and as I showed in one of my streams, right? They stole the economy from HOI 4. They took the building queue, they took civ factories and stuff. So they copied and pasted the HOI 4 economy into Victoria 3 and made that the basis for it. And that seems to be, and like, I've said it, you know, they should have taken, it's a bad sequel. If they wanted to make, you know, Victoria stuff, they would have taken people who knew Victoria too. That's all I'm saying. Let's move on from this. Let's see the super chats to get them in first. And there's nothing really else interesting to talk about from these dev diaries other than the points I've raised. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and then everyone's praising it. And then someone comes along and says, all those changes are cool, but I honestly think you should prioritize world balance so the game does not become pointless after 60 years. Yeah.
I think we're all out of sync, aren't we?
Dei kill de IMP home for Vicky 3 rosto fervendo de calor.
Yeah, Waterboard, thank you very much for the £5. I feel bad for the whole Imperator Rome
We're all out of
situation.
sync, aren't we?
The graphics matter very little, almost people have to turn the settings down anyway.
Imperator Rome is a game that they fixed and they could have kept going. They were turning it around and then they just abandoned it. Very sad. Thank you. And German Espionage. Thank you very much for the $5. The graphics matter very little when most people have to turn the settings down anyway. Yep, that's exactly what I said about optimization. I've seen so many complaints about how the game runs, including this comment here. This comment right here from this poor guy who's been downvoted 70 times is, you know, constructive. It is actually a demanding improvement to the game. And it's being downvoted. And all the, you know, the circle jerk, the upvoted comments are all about, these are absolutely excellent cosmetic changes you're adding onto the top of a broken game. We love it. Please give us more trains. Don't fix the game. Map improvements, tech tree enhancements, archaeology, Civ 6. I love it. Don't fix the game. I guess like at least half of these downvotes are just from the mere mention of the broken parts of Warfare. Poor guy. Poor in the sense that he thinks he can come in and constructively help and make the game better. Like, he's naive, that's all I mean. I don't give a fuck if he's being downvoted. He's being naive is all, you know. And he's received... Why must there... Oh my god, why must there always be uninformed comments like this? Not every Paradox employee can work on diagnosing, fixing and testing bug reports. And even for the ones that do, sending them to the code... What even is this? What are we talking about here? All this guy did was ask for them to improve a broken game. He doesn't give a fuck about which coders are doing what. Oh, you don't know anything about game development. They can't just, you know, fix the game. Anyway, we're getting too far into this. I'm going to close this. Let's put the snow back on. Let's get back to just general comfy chatting. So, and like I said, they couldn't even shit out a Word document dev diary today. They have to take their long break already. Let alone fix the game. They can't even get a dev diary out today. What is your opinion of Stellaris? Oh, I don't know. It's alright. I didn't have too much fun the last time I played it because all these managing of pops was really terrible. And stuff. Right, I've got people waiting in the waiting room. I don't want anyone in right now. I just want to have some more chill, comfy chatting again for 5 minutes. And then I'm going to bring in Zombie, because I want him to talk about some new mod he made soon. They just updated the war system in Stellaris. Would you be in favour of a game where you play an 1800s company? That's Victoria 3. Get your cups of hot cocoa. That's it. your hot cup of cocoa, get comfy. Oh, Aragon finale next year? Yes, it's going to be next year. I know a lot of people have been asking for that, but it's you have to understand, from my point of view, it's a really ambitious, it's a big project. It takes a load of time. I've been very busy lately. I was inspired and really invested in making that Victoria 2 multiplayer guide that I just made, an hour and 10 minutes. And I hadn't been so inspired to make the Aragon finale, so I just tend to work on what I'm inspired on. However, I have been inspired to make a nice, good Victoria 2 story, typical video, that's going to come out on Saturday, so don't say that I'm not putting out Victoria 2 videos. Just not that one yet. It'll be done next year, trust me. Will there be more Knights of Honor 2 videos? I don't know if I'm going to make another video on that anytime soon, but I'm going to keep streaming it again, because we are in the middle of a playthrough as Naples. How did you decide not to stream the Reno game? Yes, good question. Because the Reno game was sort of delayed a bit. It came later than I expected. And by that time, I had signed up and started playing in the Big Weevil game, the USA campaign that's been live. And I didn't want to... The Reno game came out, like sign-ups for the Reno game came out after like session 3 or 4 of the USA game. And I didn't want to stream 2 games back to back. So I've been playing in the Reno game lately, and you know, you might see videos on it in the future. I don't want to stream 2 different campaigns one day after the other. It's so stressful to set up and do even one of them, let alone 2. I used to do more than 1 campaign, but you know, it keeps... My streams and all that keep getting more and more annoying and complex to do with all the software and the setup, especially on YouTube, where I have to set up the stream early. I like being able to set up the stream early and have a pre-stream thing where people can come in and wait and set notifications, but it does make it a little bit more difficult to set up, whereas Twitch is more just like, you know, boot it up and stream immediately. You know, just boot it up and go, whereas YouTube is a bit more preparation. I need to write a description. And then, of course, when I do get into it, the chat doesn't work. And having to censor the chat box, well, that's a different story. So anyway. Well, there you go. Fourth Kaiser was in that. So I think it's time to maybe bring in an old friend. What do you think, everyone? Zombie is currently muted. I only brought him in after he muted himself.
Hello. I was just muted because I was doing some other stuff, but that's fine.
I won't ask about what you were about to start doing there before I pulled you in the channel. Anyway. So, hello, how are you?
I'm doing decent.
Oh, sorry.
Got holidays now, so got plenty of time.
Great.
Until New Year's at least.
I'm not on holiday until Saturday. I'm working right up to tomorrow to get some videos done. One of the videos is going to be about a topic that I don't even want to spoil it or explain until it comes out. You're just going to have to trust me that the topic is going to be amazing.
I see. Nice.
Have you been paying attention to any Victoria 3 stuff lately yourself?
No. I mean, not in terms of dev diaries, no, not really. Like, the only thing I've really paid, like, I've kept up to with Vic 3 is just, like, I played a few MP games. It was kind of shit. And we played with mods, and I'd fixed it a little bit, but I haven't really been interacting with, like, the dev diaries or whatever the devs have put out, because I just feel like it was unnecessary since the game's already out. You don't need to...
Yeah. Well, Paradox is all about keeping development going after they release the game. Yeah. So their dev diaries don't stop.
I do recall that I did read the first one. There's like future plans, like with the timeline, right? You had like the timeline of like what they wanted to do.
Oh yeah.
And I was kind of disappointed in that because it was all like, well, it was very vague, right? But it didn't really mention much about rehauling the combat system, and I was like, okay, well, it's gonna suck. Like it needs to be
I'm a bit confused because I just showed on my stream how they did these game jam dev diaries where they sent a bunch of their coders and developers to just sort of brainstorm new ideas that they were going to add. Yet, after the game came out, they released that post that was about a specific set of features and things that they were going to work on after development. So are they going to work on that stuff they plan to work on in that dev diary, or are they going to work on the stuff that they just brainstormed with these game jam things? I'm confused.
Yeah, it's really weird because I feel like they do not have a lack of ideas. Like I feel like the community have given them so many ideas of what they could do and what they need to fix and stuff. My theory is just that it's a way for them to like, they basically look like they listen to the community, because I don't think they have any lack of feedback after the game release. That's for sure.
They don't have a vision. They don't have a direction.
I mean, I think they do have a vision. It's just that the vision is kind of not really what I would want from the game.
Yeah, they have an overall vision about where they want the game to be, and that's what they've implemented. They want to make it a really happy, peaceful, economic factorial simulator.
Yeah, they just want to go. They want to go down the builder route rather than the simulationist route. Because Victoria was very simulationist in nature, whereas Vic 3 is more, let's say, builder-esque. So like, it's not as much. It's not really about simulating as much as it is about you building it up, right? So that's not. I think that's how I see it, at least. That's how I.
Yeah, they had this overall vision, but in terms of specific directions that they want to take the game in post-release, I don't know. Yeah. And they seem to be wanting to please loads of different people coming out with random suggestions. And the thing is, a game like this is going to be saturated with so many different suggestions. I remember on their the Victoria 3 Discord, right? The suggestions channel there was just like fucking 200 posts a day of just random nonsense. Like, can you please add fucking, I don't know, like grades of coal? Nah, grades of coal is a good suggestion, but just any little random thing.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like, I think they've got plenty of suggestions to work with. So when they make the game jam, I think it's more just for show, because it doesn't really make sense that they would need that much to actually find out. So more like they would find out which suggestions are worth trying to actually implement and while looking good. But yeah, the vision is a weird thing, because like I can see their vision. I actually do think they have a concise vision. It's just that like the way that they're implementing that vision is just very misguided, even for a builder game. I think they've like went very wrong in a lot of aspects. Like if I was like playing City Skylines or Anno 1800 or something, and I played Vic 3, I'd probably be disappointed if that's like the type of game I was expecting.
I just don't get it. I mean, I've talked about the vision a lot. I just don't get it. We already have great games like City Skylines, which happens to be a Paradox published game as well. So they're already making money off a builder game. Then we have the Anno series. So why? And then we had the grand strategy games that everyone loved, and that's what Paradox is known for. Why the fuck did they do this?
I think the question that I ask is like, why did they do it to Victoria specifically? Because they could have made a new series set in, like around 1800, but like Anno 1800, and like basically be like Anno 1800, but it's like from a macro perspective. Like you're controlling a nation rather than a town, for instance, right? Yeah. And I mean that could have worked, but it's just that like, you know, when you're doing it to Victoria, you kind of have a certain amount of expectations, and when those expectations aren't met, that's gonna suck. It kind of reminds me of the old Fallout debacle. Like, you remember Fallout 3 was released and people got mad because it was very different than the original.
Well, I wasn't around or aware of what was going on with that at the time, and I actually only got introduced to the Fallout series from fucking New Vegas anyway, which is a great game. So I don't know.
Yeah, Vegas is actually more old school in style than like a Fallout 3 or 4. But what happened basically was that like the old Fallouts, like Fallout 1, 2, and to a lesser extent Vegas as well, was designed in a very different way than Fallout 3 and 4. So people were mad because they expected one thing, and then they got something completely different because they expected that the series wasn't a action, game with light RPG elements.
Well,
and stuff.
I get that. I definitely felt the downgrade of New Vegas to Fallout 4. I played those, and I don't like Fallout 4 at all. Because New Vegas was all about these choices, role playing, and Fallout 4 was just going around shooting stuff with a vague plot line. That's what I get. I'm not really into these that much. If you want to talk about Fallout to someone, go and talk to Shark, eh?
I remember he had a lot to say about that back then. But yeah, I think it's it's a game series issue. They could have probably made this game in a different series, and it would release, and people would be like, "Oh, it's all right. It's pretty good. It's got potential," without being like super mad about it, because it wasn't replacing what Victoria was in Victoria 2 and 1. It wasn't.
Yeah. Now, a lot of people who do, to some people's credit, a lot of people who do like Victoria 3 also do respect what the old Vic 2 community thinks about it, and they can see where we're coming from. Just like I would, I mean, I'm not a Fallout diehard, but I respect old Fallout fans that felt betrayed when the game went in a different direction. And it doesn't mean I wouldn't, it doesn't stop me from liking the new direction itself and enjoying that game. But you can still respect and see the point of view of the old school people. They're not mutually exclusive. Most of the community of Vic 3 doesn't see that, but there's always some people, and credit to them for getting what we're saying.
It's a lot of, well, I mean, I actually think that sort of stuff has actually kind of been reduced a bit since release. I think people have kind of been, a lot of people have been woken up that it's like, well, it's not a perfect game, it's got a lot of problems. And, you know, a lot of people are like super hyped before release. It was like, oh my gosh, it's going to be the best game ever, and stuff like that. But now, at least from looking at the Reddit and Paradox forums, the people are being a little bit more realistic about what the game actually is.
Well, that's not what I just saw in the comments of one of the dev diaries. They were talking about,
to be fair, but yeah.
I don't know. They were talking about the living map features, and all the comments were praising it. Oh, this is great. I love the railroads. I love the museums. One comment came in and said something like, I like all these changes, but you should focus on making the game more optimal. It lags after 60 years, and maybe a little bit of fixing for the war system. And it got 70 fucking red X's downvotes.
I would say that's actually kind of surprising, because when I read on the forums, I would say they're more positive towards the game than Reddit is, ironically enough. Reddit has actually more negativity in my experience, but...
thing about Reddit is Reddit can turn on things really quickly.
It absolutely does. And certainly did here as well.
Which is why I found all the Reddit stuff before and around the release of Victoria 3 so hilarious, and I even said it in my War System video, about how quickly they can actually turn on something when they don't like it.
Yeah, the forums are funny, because like before release, the forums were actually a bit more negative towards the game than Reddit was, but now it's completely swapped. Now the forums are a bit more positive, and the Reddit is a bit more negative, in my experience at least, towards it.
Well, I mean, I don't go on either of them, so I don't know.
I do go on them quite a while, because I'm always curious to see what people think. And I mean, a lot of the times in Reddit, it's actually a lot of complaints about the game on Reddit. Like, if you go on Reddit, about a third of the posts is complaints how like this mechanic sucks or should be reworked and stuff like that. That's on the forums, it's a bit less common, but you still see it once in a while. Definitely more than you did before release, because before release, everyone was like on the hype train and stuff. No one could say anything bad about the game. But my point is just it's changed a bit now. It's not as ridiculous as it used to be, at least with how criticism was approached.
Ah, well, there's also one thing that I haven't mentioned yet, which is the Steam charts, the player counts.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Let me hold on a sec. I'll see if I can pull that up now. What's the website called again? Steam charts? Is that it? Yeah, Steam charts.
I think it's Steam charts. Yeah, I think it's Steam charts.
The main reason I actually wanted to talk to you today was because you made this Victoria 2 mod. But let me just get the Steam charts and show you the player count of Victoria 3 first. Hold on. Fucking cookies.
Gotta click yes to all that shit, or well, deny most likely.
I always deny.
Yeah, because who wants that shit? Some websites just make it really hard to deny them, though. I'll give them that.
Like, imagine you desperately needed to Google some medical procedure, and you're like, oh, the cookies. Hold on, sorry, can't help you. Let me turn that cookie off. Maybe not that one. Anyway, Victoria 3. Alright, what have we got here? Put it on the screen. There you go. So, I'll turn the snow off.
Oh yeah, I can see it on your screen.
24-hour peak, 10,000.
I mean, actually, what does Hoi? Because I know Hoi 4 has been has been quite popular. Isn't Hoi 4 like 30k, or am I outdated in that?
Yes. Let me actually just change that. Let me go and find that.
Because I recall Hoi 4 being quite well off, despite it being an old game. But I would say 10k is not like bad.
Wait, actually, I don't need to. I don't need
high.
to make a new window for it. I can just do the compare to game thing, right?
I think is that a thing?
Yeah.
I haven't really used Steam charts much, so I can't. I don't know.
Ah, yes. Look at the absolute state of this. This is the last week. Are you watching my stream?
Yeah, I'm watching it.
Hoi 4 has what's like the peak 34,000 peak. People, this is just hilarious, right? Because people on the haters would say, well, if you want a war game, just go and play Hoi 4. And people do that. Yeah. About 20,000 more people do, yeah.
Yeah. It's actually crazy because in December, that's not even how many players was there in like 16 December? It was like
wait, if you go to all time, this goes back to the Hoi 4's release, and then you see Victoria 3 in its proper context, which is, I don't know, that I think an angle that tight would be illegal for a roller coaster.
Yeah. It's like a lot of people compare it to Imperator in this sense, because Imperator also had I'm not sure if the drop off was as stark in Imperator, but it was definitely quite stark as well. And it actually does make me wonder, because I'm like 90% sure they're gonna support the game, because 10k players is not good, but it's not as bad for them to like stop updating and stuff. But it does make me wonder if it can actually like manage to recoup those players back, because obviously if you look at the Hoi 4 charts, the Hoi 4 charts actually began increasing with time, which is very abnormal because usually they drop heavily.
Hoi 4 is just an absolutely huge success.
Yeah, and I wonder if they can do the same with with Vic 3, because you can say Hoi 4 actually had a very successful update policy, because on launch it was kind of I didn't like it, but it did add a lot of stuff with updates, and eventually, from what people tell me, it actually became very good and much better than its predecessors.
Yeah.
So the question is, can they do that with Vic 3 and actually get the players back?
Let's look at the specific here. So Hoi 4 started off with 40,000, and then what's this, a month later? Yeah, about a month later, it dropped to 15k and then 10k. Victoria 3 has dropped to 10k, but it dropped from a much higher point. It started with 69,000.
Yeah.
It actually starts with almost exactly the same players as Hoi 4 already had then got, 70,000.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
Exactly the same, almost exactly.
So Hoi 4 dropped to the same point as Victoria, but from a higher point. So it started with 40, it went down to 10. Victoria 3 started with 70 and went down to 10, which is a bigger fall.
It's had a much bigger fall, yeah.
You'd think that if you were going to compare games, you'd be like, well, games always drop by like, 80%. It's normal. But this is a much bigger percentage fall than this other game.
Yeah, it was.
And this is what I calculated with Imperator as well. Imperator fell from like 36,000 to... Can I add that? Let's get Imperator.
Let's see. Because I know that Imperator dropped like pretty low in terms of raw players, but percentage-wise, I think it was pretty similar actually. We'll see.
There we go. Oh, it's not in. I can't get Imperator in. How do you get Imperator?
I don't know, just type in the name, I guess. That doesn't work, or
there we go. Look at Imperator. Poor Imperator though. They fixed that game.
Yeah, it's a very, very low amount of players. Only 900. Ouch.
You have to go to all time to find Imperator. So like I said, it started, I can't quite click that, but from when I did that little fucking video I did, it started at about 36,000 or something when it came out on release. And then 1 month later, it had dropped to 13,000. No, it came out in May. And then this is like, so about 1 month or 2 months later, it dropped to 1,400.
It basically dropped to about a little under a tenth of the players from launch, more or less. So Victoria dropped, what is it? They dropped from like 70k to 10k. So I guess the drop isn't as sharp in terms of percentage.
No, I think it is because it's when you actually go from the release date. It's complicated how Steam Charts doesn't show it properly. I can't go to the actual release day. It was because it was released in May, and then you have another one within May and then June.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's true.
So Imperator has this big mod that's supposedly fixing it, and they also have a Victorian mod in development.
That's pretty funny. It's trying to replace Vic 3 by doing it on Imperator.
Michael says something interesting, which is Imperator had the disadvantage of being released before Vicky 3 was announced. Everyone was collectively disappointed when it was announced because everyone expected Vicky 3. I know you don't mean that people expected literally Vic 3 in Imperator Rome, but people thought, you know, it's made by Johan, who was in Victoria 2. This is his next massive project. People were expecting the game to be sort of like Vicky 2, I think, or Vic 3, or something like that.
Yep. Yeah, you're right.
And there's the fact that it has pops in the game. But of course, those pops are massively simplified pops.
Yeah. I would say, I don't know. I think Vic 3 is probably not as... It probably didn't perform as well as Paradox expected. But it's probably not that bad. I don't know about like what they expected. Right?
Well, there's a difference between the amount of people that bought the game, which has been like 500 fucking thousand, and the player count. The player count might concern them insofar as they need to sell DLC to the people who have the game and stuff. But in terms of their release, they made their money.
They did. I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure if it actually would have broken even with that, because remember, this game was under development for a long time. Like a really long time. So I'm not sure if 500k copies would even break even with the dev costs. Which is like if the number they publicized 500k at some point.
Yeah, I don't know. These aren't numbers. I don't think these are numbers we can really find.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been in solid, proper development for like 3 years, but they had been, like I said in my War System video, they had been tinkering around with it since about 2014, when they were going to make... Johan was the leader of the project to make what probably would have been the real sequel back then.
Yeah.
But for some reason, they couldn't. And they just sort of left it, tried to come up with new ideas, and then eventually the current lot came in and did their, you know,
I think they'll
city builder.
I think that might remain a mystery forever, even though I would like to know why they scrapped the old build. Like, because I mean, obviously, Vic 3 was kind of.
So every time I start typing something into this box, it shows some fucking anime game before I finish typing Europa Universalis.
Maybe there's an anime game that starts with Europa. I just assumed that. Isn't it?
Now here's EU4. Came out fucking ages ago. So 7 days. EU4 is also Mogging Victoria 3. And I don't even like EU4, to be honest.
Yeah, EU4 is actually doing like decent. Like, it's a very old game. It came out in 2013 or something. And it's still getting like 18k players in peak time.
If I go back to all time, the consistent rise of EU4 hasn't been quite as good as Hoi 4's one, but I mean, that's still pretty good. What came out in June 2020?
Was that like? No, it can't have been COVID, because that was already started.
Well, COVID came out around there, yeah, but
I assume that like that's why people play, because they had nothing else to do. They just played
Emperor DLC. Emperor DLC, apparently.
Ah, Emperor.
I mean, EU4, it's also been going down. I think Leviathan has fucked EU4. Was that the one that came out like 2022? I don't know. I don't know. I can't remember, but
I can't.
Something fucked it. It's gone down.
Yeah.
A bit.
It's gone down. It's still alright, but yeah, I don't know if it was that though, because wasn't that like a while ago now, like a year or something? Well, I could be wrong.
2021. It looks to me like there's been a slight decline to EU4, and it seems to be around 2021. Yeah. Not a disaster, but it hasn't been going up the same way it had been going up. I don't know.
Yeah.
These are just lines. These are the sort of graphs that Vic 3 economy should have, but it's more interesting than looking at the price of tools. I'll tell you that.
Too real. Honestly, like, I wouldn't mind looking at the price of tools if it wasn't just a fucking fact on the base price all the time. A little boring. But that's another discussion entirely about how the economy works.
Yeah, what I actually wanted to bring you in here for, we've looked at these charts enough now. Okay, I'll look at Crusader Kings 2 one more time. Well, we know that that's not going to be doing too great.
Yeah, I mean, CK3 came out like, what, like, at least about a year, a half year ago now? Can't remember.
Okay, it wants me to put CK3 in. I didn't have a choice. CK3 is also mogging Victoria 2. 3, I mean. Victoria 3. Everything mogs Victoria 2. But
That's
Victoria
actually
3.
surprising. That's surprising. That's, to me at least. Because
So,
I assume... I thought that it was like...
CK3 dropped to about 20,000, 22,000 and stayed there. Much better baseline than Victoria 3 has got. Yeah, interesting. I can't find the first amount of players though, because it was released within the same month or something. September 22 or August 22 or something. Elder Kings, right?
I haven't kept up with CK3, so I couldn't tell you. Well, it might be.
Right, so that's the last one I want to look at. Forget CK2. What I want to talk about, you made a mod for Victoria 2 lately, didn't you?
Sort of. I don't know if you can call it a mod. More of a script, I guess. But yeah.
What is that script or mod? Whatever you may call it. What is it?
It's a thing to it changes some code in the executable file, and it just allows you to change the roles. So you can set your own range for what the combat rules are. So instead of being 0 to 9, you can make it like, I don't know, 4 to 6, or 5 to 7, or 0 to 100 if you'd like. 0 to...
Can you make that, please?
I mean, I got it already. You can look in the... What is it? I think I have it linked somewhere if you want to try it. But
can you please make a mod that gives us 0 to 200 rolls, and then we can play a game with that?
You know, it's funny because I'm pretty sure, I don't know this, but I'm pretty sure like the rolls cap out, like, because it's like a multiplier to the damage done. I'm pretty sure it caps out at like 20. Like you can't go high. Like if you go lower than 20, it won't do anything. But,
right.
Yeah.
Might there be some kind of way you could make it do something, or somewhere, you know?
You could. I mean, you could probably you could easily do that, I think, because like obviously you can already change the rolls with that program that I made. And you could probably also change the damage multiplier if you really wanted to as well. And the damage multiplier.
So, you've made this, it changes the potential range of dice rolls to lower the effect of RNG in combat, right?
Yeah, exactly. You can set your own range. So you can actually decide what the range will be. And it just creates a new game file for you and use that one. So you can decide what your roll range, what you want your roll range to be. Basically.
Right, yeah. But I mean, the main reason anyone would want to actually use it would be to lower it, I guess.
Yeah, most likely some people would want to... Either you can just set like a constant, like it always rolls the same number, or you can just set like a different range that's smaller, so there's less RNG involved. Or you could use it for testing too. If you want to test damage, you could set it so it always rolls the same number. Just anything like that.
We can have a game without rules now.
You absolutely could. Although some people did come up with an interesting point that it might make combat too deterministic if it's always the same.
Oh,
rule.
it would. I would like to just try it for fun and play it and see what it's like to play without rules. But I definitely agree with rules being in the game to add a bit of excitement and not just let the combat be boring, pure number crunching.
Yeah.
But something unpredictable in there.
Because like the way that I thought of it initially for an MP game is you could make the roll range be smaller. Like instead of being 0 to 9, you could make it let's say 4 to 6 or 3 to 7, so that it doesn't have as much of an impact. Because obviously, you know, the difference between a 9 and a 0 roll is huge. It's like a plus 10 multiplier or something, at least like a plus 10. So
well, I felt that. I've felt that many times.
Yeah. So you just get absolutely destroyed if you roll poorly. Whereas if it's like smaller, you can you don't get destroyed as much. It's more of a slight tweak to the damage done.
So let's I'm a speak like I'm a completely dumb fuck. How did you mod the exe file? So this isn't a normal mod, right? You can't. It's not possible to change the roles within a normal Vic2 mod. You can't, you know, get the folder, put it in the mod folder. This is something different. Explain it.
So I made it by you have to use like a reverse engineering program and then open the Vic2 exe, and then you basically go in and you try to find the piece of assembly code that's and assembly is a programming language, by the way, for those of you who don't know. It's like a very low level programming language where you find the piece of code that's responsible for rolling, right? And then you change the instruction so that instead of rolling, let's say 0 to 9, you change the instruction to roll a different range instead. And it all sounds very simple when I say it, but it took a long time for me to figure this out because
science has gone too far.
So that's basically what you do. It's not and like then I took that and I put it in a script so that the user can then select their own role range, because obviously, you know, you can't really expect everyone to be able to patch the executable like this, because it's a very complicated process to go into hex editor and then do this and do that.
Well, you know, I think people should be rewarded for being able to do this very complicated process by being allowed to roll up to 200 in a battle against players who can only do 10 or 9. I mean, you know.
So true.
Oh fuck! He rolled 167. Fuck, but he knows how to mod it, and I don't, so he deserves it.
It's funny because like when you make changes to the executable, right, it actually changed the checksum, like the vanilla checksum, which surprised me a little bit. So, because like obviously when you make a mod change, it changes the checksum, right? But if you actually go into the executable and change something there as well, it also changes the checksum. So it actually shouldn't be possible to cheat with this, as funny as that might sound, since you'll have a different checksum than other people who have the quote-unquote normal roles, so to speak.
So the next thing I want to ask about this is, you did all this coding, you looked into the code, you made the executable, you made the script, but you only went for one tiny specific thing in the game, which is to change the roles. What else can you change with this process?
You could change a lot, but the problem is, if for people, I don't know if you're probably not familiar with the coding, but basically when you're looking at assembly code, you don't have any information at all about it. You have to you kind of have, it's like looking for a needle in a haystack, if that makes sense. You have to find a very specific code that does what you want to change, and finding that code can often be very difficult. It took me a while to find the role code as well. You could theoretically do a lot more stuff.
So all you have to do is Control F roll. Oh my god, how could you have missed it?
So true. If only that's the problem. You can't see the variables. So instead of being called roll, it's called EBX plus X057 or something.
I knew that though. I could have told you that. That's obviously what roll is in that coding language.
Obviously, yeah. But you know, you could change a lot of stuff. Like what you could probably change is if you're really good at assembly, you could probably go in and find the piece of code responsible for desyncing people as well and prevent that from happening.
But
like a problem.
It's not, well, come on. It's not as if there's a random fucking file in the game that just desyncs people for no reason.
Well, I mean, most likely what's actually happening is, when you desync, right? Like you get different roles than other people do on their screen. Because like you're desynced, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't actually have to be that way, because what you could do if you're good enough at assembly is you could make a thing that says, okay, if you're desynced, then just keep your own game state, but still sync everything else to the host's game state. So that would just mean that okay, like this one thing that causes desync to happen, that will be desync for you, but you'll still get the same roles, the same general RNG, and everything like that, the same as the host would. Which basically means that it's indistinguishable mostly from like an actual, non-desync game. It will only be like one small thing that will be different.
This is insane. So do you know what it actually is that desyncs people then? What is it?
Not exact. I've been looking into it, but it's very difficult to actually find out with no variable names. But I am trying to. I'm sure that someone who's a lot better at assembly than me could probably do it better and find it out faster. But I'm trying as much as I can to actually find out what the desyncs are up to, because I can't prove it, but I'm like 90% sure that the way that desyncs work right now is basically an oversight by Paradox, and it doesn't actually need to be this bad to be desynced. Like I'm 99%.
I mean, there's a lot of people who won't care about this, but for me, this is like a big fucking, I don't know, a big deal. Because if Paradox had if the desyncing issue in Paradox's multiplayer is down to a stupid mistake by them, which I've always been willing to give them the benefit of the doubt over this, but if it's actually down to a stupid mistake, this is kind of fucking bad. Their stock price should go down, but no one will care.
I don't think that it's necessarily a mistake, because basically, the way that they probably made it is just to say, it's just to check if the game states are equal. If they're not equal, then the player just makes their own game state, like the guy that's desynced. And the reason they probably do that is to avoid hard crashes, because obviously, if you could probably still like crash pretty badly, and it might even fucking blue screen your PC if you don't keep the memory consistent. That if if you have like the same game state but something is different, it could cause disastrous results. So that might be a good reason why they did this way. But I just think that specifically in Vic 2, the way that they've made the desync system there, because there's no resync option, which I believe Hoi 4 has that to resync the game.
Yes.
I don't think it actually needs to desync completely from the game state. And well, I don't know if it's true or not, but that's kind of my assumption. That's why I've been looking into desyncs, because I think there might be a way to lessen the impact of actually being desynced.
Do you think you could find the OOS file?
The OOS file. Yeah. You know,
wait, Victoria 3 actually has an OOS file or folder, doesn't it?
It does. It has it's like a log. I believe it's a log, and it actually does list the reason why you OOS in Vic 3, which is nice, because obviously in Vic 2 you have no idea why you desynced.
What's typically the reason in Vic 3?
I recall that it was like elections and shipping lanes, one of the biggest ones. They actually fixed the election.
I remember when I OOSed in my one Vic 3 multiplayer game, it did actually come up with elections on the screen. It said it.
Yeah. Yeah, Vic 3 is a lot more transparent with why you're actually out of sync. Although I still think the Vic 3 system is kind of lazy, because it doesn't actually allow you to resync, which, you know, like it doesn't allow you to resync, and it also automatically kicks the other player by completely detaching them from the game state, which even Vic 2 doesn't do that. They just detach you from the RNG of the game state. It still keeps you in the game, as you might know, but until you crash.
Yeah. They wanted to disconnect you so you can just hot join, so that you can completely refresh your game state. Am I saying the right thing?
I think you're right about that. Like, they probably just want you to avoid any issues with having a partially complete game state, and just say, well, just rejoin. I think, and that'll fix it.
And then, of course, they didn't make hot joining work. That also, the person who hot joins still ooses immediately after.
Well, they did sort of fix it recently, because so now they actually made it so that if you hot join, it actually works most of the time now, because they fixed that at the OOS era when hot joining. But it can still fuck up if, let's say, like if the host doesn't unpause as soon as they hot join and keep it paused. If they don't do that, then you will most likely OOS as well. So it's like kind of finicky still, but it is better than what it used to be, at least.
Yeah, in EU4 and Hoi 4, when someone hot joins, it completely pauses the game and puts you back into a sort of lobby menu on the screen. Yeah. So that's how it should work. It just simply avoids that problem, because in Victoria 3 the game just doesn't pause, right?
It doesn't. You have to pause the game yourself. If you don't do it, it'll probably fuck up when someone hot joins up.
Yeah, that's so weird. Thank you very much, Sidezeg80, for the channel membership. Thank you. Welcome, and I think we've covered your EXE thing. I think that's about it. Very interesting. And it really ties into what I'm going to actually tell you about the video that I'm putting out soon, but not right now. I'm going to show you afterwards, because it's going to be really interesting. And it ties into exactly what you're talking about.
Interesting.
But what do you want for Christmas?
What do I want for Christmas? I mean, I actually did have something I would want for Christmas.
Well, I'm not saying it's something I'd get you. I'm just saying in general.
No, I know that. I mean, obviously, but I actually wished,
I know,
from like an actual better mouse, because the mouse that I've got right now is kind of trash, because the mouse wheel is broken.
Mate, so my mouse broke. Well, I don't know if it broke or not, but it stopped working this morning. Well, yeah, this morning. I talked about that on stream. What's going on with mice right now?
Yeah, Because my mouse wheel doesn't work, so whenever I have to play map games where like you need the mouse wheel, I have to like use a different shittier mouse, like switch, because obviously you need the mouse wheel for map game. It's not gonna work otherwise. Shit.
Yeah. I was lucky enough to have a spare mouse in my cupboard. And it's not even that bad. It's just a generic HP. It's got one side button, which is better. It's really good since most normal generic mice don't even have any side buttons.
Yep.
Lucky to have one.
Yep. Having side button is really nice, especially for like if you're playing any kind of game where you can use macros to quickly do stuff. Having extra buttons is very good.
Yeah, and I always, in Mountain and Blade, I always use the side button as a kick button. When I'm kicking everyone with the side button. Oh, beautiful.
Nice. I suppose you couldn't really use it too much.
I don't mean like kicking people from a lobby or something. I mean just literally kicking them with the foot.
Yeah, because like you have like, I think the default is E, right? The E button is one that kicks default.
Yeah.
I think. Because I played my fair bit of Mountain Blade earlier. playing.
Let's see if there's anyone in the voice channels. No, no one's in the waiting room. Damn. But we don't even get Pogba.
Pogba was there earlier, I think. Actually, he
was.
That's...
The guy who really got me with the the debate thing. He wanted to join the VC. If that guy's still around, I'll bring him in.
Wait, who wants to join?
It's just some guy. He was in my chat and he really baited me with, you know, those messages where he writes a name, but it makes you say something.
Oh.
He's gotten me twice.
Lamau. I remember people doing that to other streamers as well. Yeah.
I mean, this isn't even like a Ligma one. These ones are really clever. He really integrated them because we were talking about dev diaries and stuff. We were talking about EU4. Oh, he's here. No, that's someone else. I'll bring this guy in anyway in a sec, though. So he was like, oh, it's the guy who made the EU4 DLC Leviathan. This was his name. He's now working on Victoria 3. And then I read it, and it was so good. The guy really deserves credit for integrating it well to what we were talking about and all that.
Shame I didn't see that.
Alright, who's this?
Hello?
Is this a guy who's just going to start spamming the N-word? No, I'm just used to that.
No.
No.
No, I'm not racist.
No, I know. Well, I don't know, but you're probably not. But it's just that sometimes I get that in my Victoria 2 history in streaming.
Yeah.
It's like an instinct. Someone random joins the VC, fucking mute immediately. Anyway, hello.
Hello.
What's up? It's really surreal for me for right now.
It's alright, there's only
you were gonna bring me
200
in.
people or something.
You know.
Nah, it's only 150. You're under no pressure there. You're fine.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So, do you have any thoughts on Victoria 3? Anything?
I feel kind of betrayed by Paradox, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
You know, I was really hoping, not that I wanted like Vic 2 with better graphics, because I did want new mechanics and shit. But it's just not what I wanted as like a consumer.
Well, in my video that's going to come out sometime after Christmas, just mentioned it to Zombie in passing. It's going to be something amazing that, I can't wait to get that. I don't even know why I'm mentioning it, since I don't want to spoil what it is, but everyone who's feeling disappointed about Victoria 3 might have something else to put hope in. But, what do you want for Christmas then, Neopangian?
Oh man, I don't even know.
I'm the one in the VC with the Santa hat. You know, I'm giving you all your Christmas wishes.
Can I get a Bugatti? Chrome Bugatti from GTA?
Alright, I'll tell your parents.
Oh, right.
Well, I can't be more than $50 on a shark card, can I? I can't be more than 50.
Yeah, it's
Shark?
shouldn't be that
What?
expensive.
Oh, what? GTA? Shark card?
I don't know. I just assumed it was GTA 5 was talking about, because that's like shark cards.
No. What's the latest with GTA? Have they come out with some new multiplayer thing lately as well? They're always coming out with something.
I think hasn't the I haven't kept up with that at all, so I don't even know if he meant that. I just thought it was funny.
Nah, the only thing I've seen are the GTA 6 leaks. That's about it.
Oh yeah, GTA 6.
That was funny to read that thread where people were like doubting the leaks. They were like, "Oh, this is not real. Oh my god, you're fake." And then it was real, and they were just publicly humiliated, and they just cooked about it.
The
Like,
thing,
even if it was fake, that'd be way too much effort to put in for a fucking troll, you know?
yeah, the thing I remember from the GTA 6 leaks was people were just saying, "Oh, this stuff looks good. I can't wait for GTA 6."
Yeah.
It was pretty positive as far as I remember. Although, unlike the
Yeah.
Victoria 3 leak.
Yeah, I mean, obviously people couldn't play the game. It was like more like videos and stuff. But
Yeah.
like people were like generally positive about it. Like it wasn't. I mean, you couldn't say there wasn't really much to complain about either. Like it was pretty it was basically just like basic gameplay. And it's like, oh, it looks like GTA 5 but a bit better. So it looks good.
Looks like a sequel.
Yeah, that's nice.
And then people were saying with the Victoria 3 leak, "Oh, well, this isn't finished. You can't criticize it yet." And it's exactly the fucking same as what came out, basically.
At least I don't think GTA 6 will look like that when it comes out. At least I don't think it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like a way. It's like still not even alpha, whatever the hell you would call it.
Yeah, it's pretty early.
Does it have a year of release said yet?
I think, isn't it like? I think I remember someone saying 2024 was like that's what people were guessing at, which is about like a year plus some time, give or take. But man, yeah. More like 2 years probably if it's in the holiday season. Like 2 years.
Now, I know a few things that could be coming out in 2023 that I'm interested in, but they're not new games. What new games are coming out in 2023?
Ooh, I don't even know, man.
I don't even remember. I watched the Game Awards and then I got bored.
I don't usually look into like new games that often, to be honest.
Oh, I guess I technically haven't covered on the record the fact that Victoria 3 lost the strategy game award. I haven't covered that in a video or stream.
Man.
Yeah, it lost.
It lost it to what was it, like Mario and Rabbids or something?
Mario and Rabbids something, which is like
Yeah.
an XCOM style game of some description.
Yeah, I played that at the fucking Nintendo store in New York. That was fun.
Yeah, people were talking about, "Oh, haha, it lost to Mario," but I mean, people are also saying, "Well, this Mario game is actually good in its own right for what it does." So it's not too much to laugh about because that game.
It's actually pretty fun. I enjoyed playing it.
Apparently, it's still within the strategy genre, but it's not the same type of game as Victoria at all, which kind of makes it funny that Victoria might have lost to it. But it's a good game, whatever this is. Mario, XCOM game, shooting, turn-based stuff, I think.
Yeah, honestly, I never I didn't even know before I saw the Game Awards that game was actually out. But I think the reason why people are making fun of it is just because it's such a you have like Victoria 3, which is like a more serious quote unquote game that like you have like in quote unquote with detailed economics and all that stuff, and then you've got like an XCOM with Mario. And I guess people are just the people who like Vic 3 probably aren't the type to like that type of game. So
yeah, that's why it's just so weird having them compete for the same award. I mean, they're completely different. When I mentioned this on the Discord, someone said, "Oh, well, they're both strategy games," but who plays both of these games? There are some people, but I mean, in terms of what genres people like, they're not really competing.
I mean, I could definitely see, like, I haven't really played XCOM or any games like that, but I can see people probably like both. But I think you're right, is that it's kind of it probably doesn't have as much overlap, like that much overlap, as like other games would.
A proper competitor within that thing was the Warhammer game, the Total War Warhammer game that was in that, number 3 in the category. It also lost to this Mario game.
Yeah, it did.
And I think they should probably have like a grand strategy award. I feel like that'd be more accurate.
Yeah, but there's not enough games.
It's not enough strategy GSGs coming out, so just be the same 3 games.
Knights of
literally all be
Honor.
Paradox.
Knights of Honor came out this year, but it came out too late to go in the Game Awards.
Yeah.
Someone in my chat mentioned Civ 7. Is there a Civ 7 coming?
Really?
I don't know. I just saw someone mentioned it. And it's not like anyone in a stream chat would ever mention something nonsensical. So it's got to be true.
Civ 7. I mean, the only thing that pops up when I search it is just it's leaks, rumors.
Yeah,
Unannounced, but should be soon. Well,
Yeah.
that's something to pay a bit of attention to if that gets announced, I suppose.
Maybe I feel like the last Civ games have kind of been. I don't know. Maybe I'm not like much of a Civ player anymore. I used to play a lot of Civ 5, but I feel like Paradox games just kind of took my attention instead. Because Civ is very sort of, it's not as like in depth usually as Paradox games tend to be.
Yeah.
Even Victoria 3, you know, you can make fun of that, but it probably has a lot more unique mechanics and in depth than Civ 6 would ever dream of having.
I don't know. Well, Victoria 3 seems to be trying to take a lot of mechanics from Civ 6.
Yeah, it does, and that's really weird. But I mean, it wouldn't be a bad idea. It's just doesn't. I mean, you don't fucking need that shit right now. You need to fix the goddamn game. I mean, but you already said that a million times, so.
Yeah, but it looks like they're not bothering to. Anyway, I think I'm going to wrap up my stream now and my talk. Thank you, Neo Pangean, for being today's random lucky winner of a spot on my stream after a huge competition among 1,000 participants who wanted to get on my stream.
No problem.
See you later, mate.
See ya.
Cool, right. Okay, that EXE that you made is insane. There's going to be a lot more. I'll need to talk to you again about more of that stuff. I'm going to mention something that the video I'm making, basically.
Yeah.
After the stream.
Looking forward to this, just to hear about that.
But yeah, cheers, Zombie. Thanks as always.
Yeah. Have a good one, mate.
And have a good Christmas.
Yeah, you too. Have a good Christmas.
I hope Santa brings you the mouse that you're wanting.
Yeah, man. Fuck, man. I can't imagine playing map games like this with fucking the shitty mouse, but yeah.
Imagine if your parents got you a wheel.
Wheel.
I mean Santa.
Gotta get the fucking wheel like that Reddit post that got super popular that Huey Long made or whatever.
Yeah.
Playing big with
Paradox tweeted it.
Yeah, they did. Gotta get something like that.
What do you call Santa Claus in Denmark?
We call it Julemanden. And it just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? Just rolls.
What is that? How do you spell that?
It's like Julemanden.
Oh, Yule.
Yeah, Yule.
Yuletide.
Yeah, basically like the like you could say it's like the Yule man.
Yule man.
Yeah.
What kind of pagan shit is this?
I mean, it's Scandinavian.
Krampus.
I think it's Norwegian as well.
Do you have the Krampus?
A what?
Krampus.
I have no idea what that is.
I think it's German.
I might be. It's certainly not something I've heard about.
I mean, come on, it's not that. It's not you're not too far from Germany. Surely the Krampus terrorizes people north of the border as well.
Oh my god! I remember I had to like when I had German in school, I was absolutely terrible at it. Like you'd think it's similar, and it kind of is, but it's like Danish is such a difficult and weird language that the only reason I know it is because I had it in my upbringing. If I had to learn Danish or German or anything like that,
of course, you find German difficult. You actually have to pronounce the letters that are in the language. You know, when you get a word like das, it's fucking DAS, das. If that was in Danish, it would just be pronounced ah.
Yeah,
it's got a silent D and S.
You're right on that one. Although they do have a lot of different, like they really do like their gendered words in German. I'll say that. That's a lot of that shit. And,
what I hate about German is it has the 3 gender system, but there's no way of telling which word is in each gender like there is in French, Spanish, Italian. Obviously, in Spanish and Italian, if it ends in O, it's masculine. If it ends in A, it's feminine. But there's nothing like that in German.
Yeah, it's super random. You just have to basically memorize it in your head and just be like, oh yeah, that's this word.
Doesn't Danish have 2 genders as well?
We do, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's also mostly random too. The only reason I'm not failing at it is because I live here. If I had to learn it, I would be the same. It'd be as annoying still. Because you have to learn like only 2 genders, but it's completely random with the words, so you have no idea which word is which.
Yeah, now the thing about English is we also developed out of languages that had the genders, and there were ways of telling back in the day. But instead of maintaining the system without any way of telling what they are, we just got rid of the system.
Yeah.
Whereas other Germanic languages kept the system, but lost the ways of telling what the words are. So your languages are all fucked. I'm sorry.
You're right. I do like English because it only has one gender. Or at least there's only one unified, like, signified to the gender, like the. Like, no matter what, it's always the. It's not like another random word if it's another gender or whatever. It's not like a...
And Dutch has het and de, and Danish and Swedish add the thing onto the end of the word. Mannen, manet, whatever it is.
Yeah, that isn't actually too bad in Danish because we do usually have mostly the same, like, one ending. It's like en, usually. So yeah, that's not too bad, but like a lot of other stuff is quite bad. Trust me. I mean, as I said, like, we don't pronounce half our letters. You have to kind of guess which ones are pronounced, which aren't.
No, there's probably some rules, but
I mean, you'd be surprised how few rules there actually are. So Danish is just like the number one rule in Danish is just know the language, memorize it.
Just
literally,
just know it.
Just know it, yeah. So easy.
There's also a study that there was some article or study that showed that Danish children acquire their language later than other countries. It's real. It's a big problem how bad your language is.
I haven't heard about that myself, but I wouldn't be surprised by it. Danish is
it's not something the Danish government would tell its people, but outside Denmark, it's a known fact.
Real. Absolutely. Ooh. That's a problem. That's why I had such a tough time learning German, because German is basically like, it has a lot of the same BS as Danish and other like Germanic languages, but I just didn't have the advantage of living, growing up with it, basically.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to start from the beginning, which is really shit. And that.
Yeah, that's the way it is. All right, thank you, Zombie, for all the chat.
Yeah, man.
Have a good Christmas. Yeah, again, have a good Christmas, and I'll see you for some games or talks after. But I'm going to tell you about this project first.
Yeah.
See ya.
See ya.
Alright, as for you, chat, it's been a fun discussion. We had our little Victoria 3 moment, and the moment that it started to get annoying and toxic, we stopped to move on to better things to talk about. And we got one guest, who is also Neopangean, who's a very generous contributor the whole time with loads of super chats always, and he just proved today that I'm a generous. I bring in anyone. I bring in people who wait in the waiting room in my streams, but you know, if it's empty, I can't bring anyone in. So this is not my last stream. I also intend to probably have an OpenTTD stream tomorrow at the usual time. So that will probably be my last stream of the year tomorrow.
I think we're all out of sync, aren't we?
Thanks for having me on. Can't believe you actually got me a Bugatti. Go to waiting rooms Spud Discord for free presents.
Yeah, I put in a little favour with Santa as well to give Neopangean something back for all the super chats he's given me. Thank you very much for the $5 there. You didn't have to give me that. But yeah, thank you very much everyone, and everyone else with the super chats and the members. I appreciate all of those, and I hope everyone has a wonderful Christmas, and if you don't celebrate it, well, just have a nice day. And if you live in the southern hemisphere, hope it's not too warm outside. But yeah, thank you so much everyone, and I'll see you tomorrow for some OpenTTD. Last thing, there's also going to be a special Christmas themed map tomorrow. I think there's one that turns the entire map into toys. There isn't really anything that Christmassy, but you can turn the map into toys, like Santa's factory or something. And there's going to be a Victoria 2 video on Saturday, which is Christmas Eve. And then a few days later, maybe the 28th, a few days after Christmas, I'm going to release a very special video that is going to be the topic that I mentioned to Zombie and all that. It's going to be huge. And then there's going to be a special New Year surprise video. And then a little while after that, it's about Victoria. Don't get me wrong, it's about Victoria 2. The discussion thing is about Victoria 2 and surrounding topics and special projects and things. So, I'll bid you all farewell and have a great Christmas. Hope you get everything you want and have a nice time. And goodbye.